Alright guys, so give it a chance to settle. It looks like it's still coming up with similar numbers. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just drive out of here, take you up one of my favorite roads, and we'll see how it goes. Always have to be dangerous or careful on this road because it can get really dangerous. One, with the rocks, I can attest to, or my tire can. But also, this is a lot of hikers come up this road, so it's important to make sure you can actually see where you're going, and you're not risking running over any pedestrians. I mean, it's not a fast road, as you can see, but this is more just a side route that I take. There's a really nice lake here. It's actually featured in that movie Damnation, where they're talking about a poorly conceived dams. It's the one with a pair of scissors and a cutout line running up and down it. Matilija, if you're curious. And that's how the locals pronounce it. But yeah, as I was coming in, I could see the rock slide, so I try to keep off of that. In case you were wondering, the road does narrow. But it's very picturesque, even in low lighting conditions. It is. Someone on the on the Facebook Chevy Bolt EV owners group, they had asked, they're asking questions about the Bolt's headlights and how well they illuminate. And I really do think that is one of the key, one of the big selling points on this car is I think the headlights are amazing. That's where it would have been nice to be able to reach my regeneration paddle. But they're very bright. Right now we're still in a fairly high light situation. So we're still in a very high light situation, so you won't see it just yet. But as it gets darker, I can maybe demonstrate how bright they actually are, because I think it's also a matter of the color of light, because certain light actually illuminates better than others, and I think white light is generally one of the better illuminators, and I think that's the color that they chose, as kind of a softish white light. Look into the light, and I think it's actually very good, at illuminating. And maybe I'm reading too much into this, but I'm conscientious, and I grew up in the countryside. I know you don't run with your brights on, but I've had people flash me with their high beams as they are coming toward me in a way that would indicate to me that they thought the light was in their eyes, like they thought I had the high beams on when I did not. So while it might be good for vision, you do have to be very cautious about that. And so it might be something worth having GM check out to see, are these lights too bright? I know it's one of my big contentions with a lot of the BMWs is they have these headlights that, as I'm driving towards them, are just ridiculous to look at. You know, it's they might as well have their high beams on. And I wonder if other people are having a similar experience as they're seeing the Bolt EV driving toward them. If they are, then that's something to something to be concerned with. So I know on previous cars that I've had HIDs, they were very conscientious in providing a headlight raising and lowering feature that would allow you to adjust the headlights based on what you felt you needed. You know, up in Northern California, I drive around and half the vehicles I come across are trucks. They don't care if I have my high beams on or not. But people in cars would, right? But I could generally get away with up there having my beams set a little bit higher. Down here in Southern California, it's actually not as much of an issue as you might think, because it's not as much of an issue as you might think. Now I just put my high beams on here and go into the tunnel. But it's not as much of an issue as you might think, because you're driving around in areas where your high beams would be inappropriate, right? You're driving in the city, you're driving with other traffic. High beams are not going to be appropriate 80-90% of the time that you're driving. So that's something that it's just not an issue, right? And you don't use it on the freeway either. I feel like I'm now doing a driver training class. Don't do this, do this, don't do this, do this. So first tunnel, low beam, second tunnel, high beam. How's that? So that's the low beam, if you can see it. That's the high beam, if you can see it. It's noticeable to me. And I know the person was asking specifically about peripheral vision, right? How well does it light objects off the side of the road? And I feel that it does fairly good at that. It actually illuminates another probably 6 to 8 feet up along the side of the wall, or the side of the wall, or the side of the road. So I felt like my vision would be significantly improved. I might also be talking too much, so it might be fogging the windshield. So I'll see if I can remedy that. But it was getting a little cloudy. Or it could be this wonderful no-name brand coffee. That Bucks Stars. Yeah, don't do that, kids. I drive my life 1/4 mile turnout at a time.